Hello. Hello. It's Khalil Kavan, and welcome to the Creative Rewind. I'm not sure what we're going to name this yet, but I'm playing around with some names. So right now, we're going to rather call it like the Creative Rewind or the Creative Unwind. But we're talking about the recent episode 18 of Creative Radio, Content with Consequence. And then I'm going to kind of give you some behind the scenes. So this is more of some of the stuff that you may not get to experience on the podcast because it's just more of a laid back, chill, authentic tone. I mean, I know I bring my authenticity to the podcast, but of course, certain things I have to stay on brand because, Creative Radio is a brand. So here, Content with Consequence. So first and foremost, Creative Radio is back. I'm excited. I brought Creative Radio back because I said, you know what, in the times that we're living in and just with so much going on in the world and creativity advancing, why not have a Creative Radio? Like, why not be in the midst, And I started Creative Radio back in 2019. I started Creative Radio back in 2019. But for me, I feel like the world wasn't ready yet to receive podcasts as it was. Like, podcast was a thing, but it's not like a thing like it is now. And I think one of the things with when you are innovating is you got to be careful when the world is not catching up yet to what you're doing or to what you're showcasing, and then you kind of stop. Now, I feel like when I first started Creative Radio, I got a bit discouraged because I was like, well, it doesn't seem like people are catching up. Or I was also told, you do behind the scenes. You shouldn't have a podcast. Like, why do you have a podcast? You could be outshining your talent or all these different things. It was a lot. It was a lot. And then I was overthinking everything. When I first started Creative Radio, I was overthinking everything. I was an over perfectionist. Like, I wanted everything to be perfect. I was like, I wanted to look like we like 20 years in, and that was like slowing down the podcast. It was slowing down the episodes. It was slowing down my guests. It was slowing down everything because I was so in my head. Like, I kept overthinking everything. I wanted the graphics to be perfect. I wanted the look to be perfect. I wanted the conversation to be perfect. Like, I felt like by episode 1, we needed to have everything figured out because my name is on the line, my brand is on the line. So no, we got to have it all perfect. And I realized people didn't even care about that. Like, they were just so excited that, like, oh my God, like, you're venturing out into another, thing. You're doing something new. This is so refreshing. And then you're giving us inspiration. You're giving us these talks. But I didn't see it because, again, there were no blueprints before me or blueprints in my space that were doing it the way that I presented it. Then I was like, I want a set. I want to have like a table, and it needs to be like this big table, and we're going to have like this big conversation. And then you all started liking the couch. And I was like, oh, like you're making the red couch a thing with the charcoal, like that's, again, when you don't see things a certain way, in the sense of like you're innovating, to you it could just look like, oh, this is just regular, or someone else can come up with this, and then you realize like this is not common. Like, it's not common for someone to have a red couch. It's not common for someone to have a charcoal board. Like, that's the interior designer in me. Like, I designed this a particular way because I wanted it to tap into creativity, tap into inner child, and then have like that vibrant pop to it. Eventually I may though switch the color palette into like a more like neutral or maybe like a yellow. I don't know yet, but I'm kind of feeling that in this space in my life, but we'll see. But yeah, I started overthinking everything when Creative Radio first came out, and my peers were just like, please stop. Like, this is great. Like, just get into the momentum. And even now, reflecting back on that, like, if you're someone out there that's like an over perfectionist, like, just get into the momentum first before you start like over analyzing, overthinking, like getting too much in your head. Allow certain things to be, and then give yourself a certain time frame to say, you know what? If this doesn't get to, the certain metrics, a certain goal I want to get to by a certain date, then this might be the time I want to cut it off or take a pause or go into something else. But if you are someone that creates, give yourself time and momentum to really hash things out. Because had I not been an over perfectionist, we probably would have been in like season 10 or season 20 of Creative Radio. And I'm just being honest. We would have been probably in season 20 of Creative Radio by now, had I not overthought so many different elements, because time started flying. Then we had pandemic. And by the time pandemic came, like I tried it again and I was like, it's just too much going on in this world to be trying to do some podcasts. Like I need to worry about me. Y'all in here buying up tissues and toilet papers and all this type of stuff. And unfortunately, like it was just trauma, like getting calls about, certain like this one, like it was just a lot. So I was like, you know what, let's just pause it. And then you kind of see gradually, I started doing episodes over time, but it just wasn't in a momentum. And I'm at the point in my life, I'm like, I'm not worried about the over perfectionist. Like, we're going to have hiccups. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be like, wow, the first couple of episodes, because I'm still figuring out rhythm and momentum and how I want to go about things or how I want to approach things, the subjects that I want to talk about. Like I have the blueprint of subjects that we are going to talk about, but like sometimes I want to switch it up because I think from myself, and then I also think about the consumer. Like, is this something that you're gonna get bored of after a while, or is this something that you're going to feel like, okay, you talk about the same thing over and over again, so like I got it. So what's next? So I think about those things. I think about how are we going to evolve as a podcast, But I'm doing my best not to get so much in my head this time around doing creative radio that I stop, because that is where the stopping and starting has matriculated. It's honestly from being an over perfectionist. Because think about it, my lane is the lane of branding, okay, and visuals. So to then challenge myself to do something on an audio base, it's like you're not going to be perfect. So that's a little bit of the synopsis of what's been happening with creative radio, and then we have possible media, where that's when I pause. If there's things in the land right now that can change 18 million things, I can change my mind about doing possible media. So we're not doing possible media anymore for right now. I realized, I was like, we're in a different time of the world. People need to see more KK studios in the world. People need to see more, Kalukavans in the world. So like, yeah, possible trying to hide behind the brand, try to hide behind the company, like maybe at a later scale, but not right now. And plus, just when you're in a state of grieving, you can try to kind of be like, oh, let me launch things, let me put things out there to make me feel better. And it's like, no, that's not gonna, just keep doing the work. Like by launching a new company or renaming a company, this is not going to take the grief away. So no. So KK Studios is back as well. I'm excited for that because all of my brands have always intertwined with KK. Like creative radio starts with a K. I did all this. Has all was given to me by God intentionally. Like creative radio, Kaluka KK Studios, like KK, like all the different Ks. So I was like, now we're gonna switch. Like now we're gonna switch in the time of evolution. No. So we're not going to do possible media for right now. It's a no. It's a no for me. And so thank you for being graceful with me and being open to this switch and things of that nature. And so I'm very grateful for that. And then content with consequence, I really broke down in this episode. On episode 18, I was articulating to you all basically just about why it's important to have content days, especially if you're a business owner or a founder, or you are somebody who is just, you're wanting to show up on social media, but you don't know how to, or you're trying to get into the influencer market, or you're having an event, or you're having a product launch. Like it is so important to have content days, because content days will relieve some of that stress. It will relieve some of that, oh my gosh, I gotta get content for this product, I gotta get content for this event, I gotta get content for my brand. So content days helps you to alleviate that stress. And one of the things I also touched on is that if you have an event launch, or if you have a product that's coming out, do a content day around that event, or around that launch. Do it around it. So like you should be having pre-launch content like, hey guys, I have a new thing that's getting ready to drop, stay tuned. Or like, hey, this is behind the scenes of my product in the making. And then when you launch a product, like, hey, it's here, go to my website or go wherever you need to, download to buy the product or get the ebook or get the course. Like you should be having a whole bunch of hype content that keeps people in momentum. It used to take 7 times for people to see content, and now it takes them over 20, probably about 10 to 27 times. It's double that, because there is always noise now on social media. We're not living in a time no more where, you kind of had your like pinpoints, like, oh my God, this person's doing content, or this person's doing influencing, or this person's on YouTube. Like everybody and their mother is doing something on social media. So you may have to post something over 27 times just for people to resonate with it, because at first they're trying to stimulate their mind with all of the overstimulation that we already have on social media. So a content day will help you. So you're not trying to be like, oh, what should I post today? Should I post this? Should I post that? Maybe like ease at ease, my queen. If you ever seen that TikTok, please, please, please. If you don't know what TikTok I'm talking about, at ease, my queen. At ease, my queen. Like, let's do these content days correctly so you're not stressing yourself out, putting yourself in a whole like panic attack. Like, just stop. Stop. Plan around your events, plan around your product launches. If you're an artist, if you have things that's coming out, if you're an actor and you have a show coming out, like plan content days around that so you're not stressing yourself out and trying to figure out how you have this follow-up content while momentum is happening. And that's where people go wrong. The momentum happens. Like you get the blessing, you get the opportunity, your song, it peaks, your show, it peaks, your thing, it peaks, and then you have no content to follow up. So people are just kind of like, we don't know what to do with you. Like, we don't know how to follow up with you. We don't know how to connect with you because you don't have anything for us to connect with. So that's why I encourage, do your content days around your particular launches so that way you're not stressing yourself out. Like, you just don't have to do a content day just for your brand to release general information. Do content days around particular events. So go listen to episode 18 of Creative Radio. My plan is to drop an episode every Tuesday. So to get us into a rhythm, it's going to be every Tuesday. We're dropping a new episode. I'm going to hold myself now publicly accountable because when the random drops, they were cute, they were great for the time being, but I really want us to have momentum. I'm in this phase of my life. I'm like, certain things you just have to have momentum because you look forward to that. Like, the information is valuable. It's things you want to understand, and it's as me serving you. Like, I'm not doing my due diligence if I'm not showing up, or I'm over perfecting, or I'm trying to think too much into the content or too much into the brand to where you're just like, we're just looking for you, okay? And I think that's where a lot of brands and a lot of organizations right now, they're struggling because they're trying so much to over perfect things because we were born in an era of everything like excellence, perfection. And now with AI and all these different tools that's out there, it's kind of like it's quantity over quality. And that is a hard fight, especially when you're dealing with high ticket offers, when you're dealing with brands that you are selling certain products. Like, you're like, what do you mean quantity over quality? Like, that is a whole like shift, especially coming from, the entertainment field where it's like perfection. Like, it has to be high quality, like everything has to be. And now you're saying quantity over quality. Why do you think shows like are being filmed in 2 weeks? Like, it's quantity over quality because people want the content now, and content is not going anywhere. And I saw this years ago. I saw this when I started doing visuals on Instagram, the vertical videos, and I would put the music to it. Like, people were just looking at me like I had 10,000 heads, and I was like, this is where we're going. And now, look, we are here. And I'll be honest, like, at one point, I got discouraged with that too. I'm like, here it is. I'm producing all these vertical visuals, putting music to it, editing it, and the people are just kind of like, we don't even know the title for this. We don't know what this is. Like, we know it's cool, but like, is it going to get ROI? Is it going to get profit? And now, long and behold, look, vertical video, every platform, TikTok, X, all this. So I encourage you, if you're like a founder, or you're an innovator, or you're creative, and you're trying to put new things out, and it seems like it's not hitting, do not give up. Go get yourself into a rhythm, into a flow, and let the world catch up to you. Don't try to catch up to the world, because then when you try to catch up to the world, it looks like now you're trying to do a reverse and try to catch up to the momentum you already had at the beginning. And sometimes when you're introducing new things, people can move slowly. They can move and kind of move like turtles. Like, huh? Like, when visuals first came out, when you used to see a Kaluka visual, people were like, what is a visual? What is a visual? Now look, visual, content. And so I'm sharing all this because I know sometimes I can give like, oh, like perfect. But like, I also am a human being. And so I just kind of wanted to share a little bit of my process and certain things that I think I want to reflect on, because sometimes you need to hear that, because you could think like, oh, he just got it all together. And it's like, baby. So I'm very grateful. So this is our Creative Rewind. So watch or listen to, well, actually you have to listen because I told myself to. We're going to start out doing the episodes audio only. Tomorrow specifically, I may do a visual only because I'm going to do some teaching on the platforms that you need to be on. And so I think that might require some visuals, so that way I can give you some slates and some graphics on top of it. So you can, if you're a visual learner, you could really understand and break it down. So yeah, but listen to episode 18 of Creative Radio on all podcast platforms, and then follow me on social media if you haven't, at Khalil Kavan. And if you're looking to do a content day with me, we do content days all over the world. Like, we're not limited to anywhere. Go to KhalilKavan.com. And if you want to do a strategy session, go to KhalilKavan.com. All right. So tune in to Creative Radio Tuesdays on all your favorite podcast platforms, and subscribe, like, comment, and share on this video. Okay. All right. I love you. I'm grateful for you. And thank you for being with me. Thank you for being on this journey. KK strong. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Later, y'all.